I've been asked many times if you can sue for emotional distress after a car accident in Florida. Florida has some very tricky laws when it involves automobile accidents. According to the law in Florida, you have to overcome what's called a no-fault threshold. In other words, you have to have what's deemed a permanent injury in Florida. That's based on the AMA guidelines to permanent injury, 6th edition. It's actually a very low standard of rating of an injury in Florida, and it's accomplished by a chiropractic physician or a medical doctor who observes your care subsequent to a car accident. So the short answer is yes, you're entitled to get damages for pain and suffering, emotional damages after a car accident in Florida based upon the severity of your injury. This is why it's very important after an accident to contact a personal injury attorney such as myself, who has over 30 years experience representing people injured in a car accident. Emotional damages are sometimes called pain and suffering, and many times the jury or insurance company can give a large award for damages. I've had many cases where the damage awards for pain and suffering have been very substantial based upon the factors surrounding the case, the severity of the case, severity of the injuries. Emotional damages are very hard to put a number on. Some people use a per diem argument. If you gave someone $100 a day to live inside their body for the emotional damages that they have, calculated out over a lifetime, can calculate to very extraordinarily high damages. Jurors are experts at determining the amount of money that someone should get or not get for their emotional suffering and damages. And this is the hardest part as a lawyer for me to be able to get across, to be able to show what damages are entitled to for their emotional damages. And a lot of it is based upon loved ones of the person that is injured. I find knowing the people who are surrounding the person injured can many times give a much better description of the emotional damages that they suffer. One time I had a plane crash victim who had 27 surgeries. And when asked if he had any residual issues or any problems, in his mind, he could only say there's nothing wrong with him and he was fine. He was a walking medical miracle who requires future care for the rest of his life. But his loved one, his spouse, his children, his siblings can all describe very intimately how his life had substantially changed subsequent to the accident, which all leads up to the emotional damages or pain and suffering aspect. I find it's a lot easier to get those damages through the people who are close to the injured party, much better than the injured party describing their own injuries themselves. So in brief, if you're involved in a Florida automobile crash, based upon your injuries, you are entitled to emotional damages or pain and suffering damages.